Well, you are looking good. You who are 3 steps above average. I'm feeling 3 steps below average. Here in Utah, we've been having massive problems with medium to high pollen count. It's been going on for about 3 weeks now. You probably noticed from my previous podcast, I finally broke down, got a Primatene mist inhaler. Uh, I'm going to do the best I can. This will be off the top of my, just ad lib this, which is not a lot different from what I do anyways. I'm being authentic with you. I'm author of this book, Consider My Servant Job. I'm having difficulties right now. I can barely talk, barely breathe. I'm choking. I use a CPAP machine, and you have allergies plus CPAP machine. It doesn't work out well, so I may be seeing the doctor in a couple of days. I'm not sure what they can do since it's the air problem. So this is Eyes of Faith. The theme is the China syndrome. So we have 2 China stories. First one is Trump's visit to China, where he visited there, brought Elon Musk. I was very concerned about a decapitation strike. But on the other hand, think about this. Okay, China kills a president while he's visiting China. So we, of course, have to nuke them. And then, of course, they'll nuke us back. I don't think the Chinese are that crazy. Yeah, but you can see how red my nose is. Plus, when you have all these Chinese firms that own land in the United States, that creates an incentive not to nuke us. But whatever exactly happens, remember, Trump is the master of the deal. When he's complimenting Xi, it's a bargaining technique. First of all, just on a human level, Trump is vicious to his enemies. He shows no mercy, no quarter. But this is a persuasion technique. Okay, I'm on your good side. I'm complimenting you. I'm throwing you a bone. Throw me a bone back. Let's make this work. We do have to coexist. I don't know if it feels like China is a little bit more stable than Russia right now. I'm a little bit biased. I come from the San Francisco Bay Area. And so I grew up with an appreciation of Chinese culture. And, there's that joke is that China thinks long-term incrementally, and they work within our legal system. It's the same thing with a lot of the, with the George Soros public defenders. They're long-term incremental, work within the legal system, and they use the legal system against us. Remember I said this, inhaler, but I care about you enough to do this when I'm not at the top of my game. So that's what you do when you think about China. Trump's cutting a deal, and he's working with very intelligent people who think long term. And so we'll see what good comes of this. Certainly we had our 8 people there. So we have our, that's a China trip. Trusting Trump's ability to negotiate, to cut a deal in our behalf, and dealing with the situational reality of communism. I'm not naive about communism. I've looky here. Like I said, I'm not at the top of my game. You're just probably just put this on as an ongoing blooper reel. This is a copy of the Communist Manifesto. Says the manifesto. At the end, the communists disdain to conceal their views and aims. They openly declare that their ends can be attained only by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. Let the ruling classes tremble at a communist revolution. The proletarians have nothing to lose but their change. They have the world to win. Working men of the world unite. So that's the Chinese operating system. Abolition of private property. from each according to his ability to each according to his needs. That's from the Gotha program. And then Workers of the World Unite. Ours is life, liberty, and property. Quasi not working together. However, you always abandon your principles if you can cut a good deal. So let me pause right here. I don't have a sponsor. I'm going to have an anti-sponsor right now. I've upgraded to tablets. I had this very antique tablet, and I upgraded. And so I went for the old Deseret Book app, and the anti-sponsor product I'm anti-sponsoring is a Deseret Book app. Not the company, but the app. I haven't criticized the company. Some of their talent, they openly criticize the church, and they say inflammatory things, and their products aren't pulled. But the app, it stinks. It's atrocious. I spend about 25% of my time hitting the, the force stop to get it working. It skips around. So finally I broke down and posted a negative review on Google Play. Apparently, there's a lot of other people who have been experiencing the same problems I have, is that this app, the Deseret Book app, is a big step backwards. So you're kind of stuck. You're a little bit stuck having to use the Deseret Book app because just certain products are only available there. Or if they're available on... Yeah, just work with me. I'm sick. I'm not laying down in my bed moaning or, that I am actually doing my job. So there's some stuff you can get there. You can get them there cheaper. But son of a gun, this is the cruddiest app I've ever used. It got me enough to post a negative review. So Deseret Book, can you do better with your app? And that's my anti-commercial for an anti-sponsor. So China Syndrome Part 2. Mayor of Arcadia has been indicted by Kash Patel as being a spy for China. Now, you always can indict a ham sandwich, but remember what I said is that China, long-term, incremental, and works within our legal system and uses our legal system against us. That you have Chinese nationals here. They come to BYU, they get converted, and they go back to China. On the other hand, people come here with create all these anchor babies, birthright citizenship. They're loyal to China, just like with the, you always read a good Cold War Soviet era book where you have a Soviet sleeper cell and they have children here, and so they're American citizens. California, Spencer Platt, or is it Pratt? Spencer Pratt. So some guy's running for mayor, and they need our help. He needs our help. And you look what's going on in California with Spencer Pratt, think of Parley P. Pratt, Spencer Pratt, house burned down, so he's running for mayor. Think about Arcadia, Pacific Palisades, San Francisco's turned into the poop emoji capital of the world. One mayor is a Chinese agent. I could not write a TV show. You would not believe it. That this is what's going on. So seriously, these are the old glasses. Let me flush one. Today's trivia question is: how many dumb things do I do in the process of this broadcast? Put it in the comments below. So California's out of control. If you got money, give Spencer Pratt some help. If you care about Los Angeles, this is a once-in-a-lifetime situation with Spencer Pratt, where he's got the fire, he's got the AI videos, he's certainly got our attention, and he could use our help. $1, you feel comfortable just 1,000 people giving him $1? If your house burnt down and you're not voting for him, I forgive you. I want to say you deserve what you get, but I'll forgive you for wrecking my home state. So next item, America 250. This weekend, in fact, today, a few hours ago, they've been having this Faith America, Renew America, where they have a lot of Christian pastors, Franklin Graham. They had a rabbi there talking about things, having renewing America's faith, and the Book of Mormon. The devil teaches a man that he must not pray. The Book of Mormon teaches that this is America is a promised land and it was set apart by God for specific purposes. In fact, Ronald Reagan talks about one of his Thanksgiving proclamations. Now, this is you have issues with separation of church and state, issues of Christian nationalism, issues of replacement theory. These are all valid questions. And in fact, I love questions. But if we give you a good, solid answer, don't start repeating the questions like you didn't get an answer. There was an issue with the head of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The secretary sent out a email, and I haven't been able to find the text of it. I've seen snippets of it, but the fact that I can't find the text of it is a bit troubling to me. Maybe I haven't looked enough. Maybe I need to get another chat bot. But from what I read, I think if you have Christ has risen, I think that would be inappropriate. That's specifically Christian, and it's cabinet level. Certainly the secretary will have a personal social media account or media accounts. Personal ones whenever it's appropriate, like based Mike Lee. Mike Lee pops off whatever he wants to. You have the official one. Same thing with every other political official. They have their personal social media account, then they have the official government one. So I think this is actually one where the atheist groups are right. I think it was not appropriate. So why do I think this rededicating America to God is a good thing? Well, it's because the Supreme Court has been very incoherent about the law, about separation of church and states. We have illumination. So there's been a separation of church. It's been incoherent. For example, they'll grandfather and legacy things in, which normally would be offensive, such as having a chaplain. And then prayer services. In fact, I used to hold prayer meetings in the Capitol building. I don't know if you're aware of that. And of course, on the Supreme Court building, they actually have a statue of Muhammad, since he was a lawgiver, Moses, who's another lawgiver. Respect for the idea of a rule of law, be it code like Draco or Solon or Pericles, or you have the other law, Justinian Code or Napoleonic Code, or Moses is the Law of Moses, which was covered like a broad order, and it's really important to shift with the Law of Moses. So when you're studying Old Testament, is you're studying a civil code. But the Supreme Court's just always been incoherent. So we know how the ruling now is if it's mixed in with other secular symbols. Okay, you have a snowman, you have an elf, you have the Grinch, you have Yoda throwing a snowball. You have Papa Smurf there, and then you have a mange, and that's okay, where it's obviously not emphasizing one religion. And these same things is where they have the public meetings, where they'll have the priest, they'll have the imam, they'll have the Orthodox primate with the really cool beards. Okay, you gotta say, Eastern Orthodox, you like the beards. I work at a hospital, and beers get in the way of stuff. Plus, I have a CPAP machine. But, the priest, the imam, Eastern Orthodox primate, they have the shaman, and then the lesbian rabbi. So you realize, okay, it's just not, this is just general spirituality. That's how things go. And I think this comes under that same category. It's just the Supreme Court's just been incoherent, so I don't think he's doing anything wrong. But, as the Book of Mormon teaches, if we can't speak this in the public square on a political ground or on a school ground, certainly within our homes, we can teach families about the divine destiny and the divine heritage of the United States of America. Jaredites, the Nephites, the vision of Columbus and George Washington in the Book of Mormon. Certainly that bears repeating. We love atheists. I'm grateful for the work that some of them done with Bertrand Russell, Carl Sagan. We disagree with them, but we do need to, by default, the Constitution doesn't say by default we're atheist, and that the Constitution's job is not to squelch theism. It's not to regulate churches. So you come with that understanding, that's not a correct one. So that's what I think about the sermon. I think it's great. Part of the reason why I vote for Trump is that he is protecting my rights as a person of faith. I feel safer under him than under Clinton, Biden, and Kamala Harris. Even though Vice President Harris and I were both from Oakland, California, but that's not a compliment, is it? So where are we at? We got through covered the America 250. Any life hack I have for you: when you get sick, slow down. Just hit the pause button. Reevaluate your priorities. Your first heart attack, you never really recover from it. There's people who are workaholics, and Paul warns about zeal without knowledge. Zeal not according to knowledge. You screw things up when you don't slow down. I guess that will become that'll be my e-devotional, my e-chapel, just my spiritual thought that I close with here at 16 minutes, because this is about the best I can do. That zeal not according to knowledge. There's talk of appropriate zeal and inappropriate zeal. BYU President Cecil Samuelson gave a talk on appropriate zeal. Give it a look. Look it up. President Dieter Uchtdorf said, when you hit turbulence, slow down. I'm in turbulence. So we're just getting 17 minutes of me. But thank you for your attention. The fact that you pay attention to me and are following me and just giving me your ears, I appreciate that. And hopefully I'm giving you something in return, at least a sense of clarity, sense of hope, and a sense of perspective in life that isn't naturalistic. We're not a bunch of monkeys running around. We're children of a Heavenly Father. And that's the passing scene. Seen with the eyes of faith and aided by my trusty inhaler. Thank you. 17:43 minutes. Miracle.